We hear a lot about infrastructure upgrades and the fight over how to pay for those improvements. Those arguments typically are focused on highways and bridges, but a multi-state argument over who should pay for power line upgrades has been brewing for years. This week's First Look focuses on a proposed underwater power line from New Jersey to Delaware. It's a project that's now on hold. This is the nuclear power plant at Artificial Island. It's just across the Delaware River from the first state, and it's where the story of this interstate fight begins.
The electrical system in southern New Jersey is unstable in the Artificial Island area.
The problem stems from a lack of power lines to transport electricity created at the PSE&G-run Salem Hope Creek nuclear facility.
As it becomes more and more unstable, the only way the operator can keep the system functioning is to start closing off parts of the system. And so that means blackouts localized, and those can cascade very quickly when we're talking about a stability issue.
To solve that problem, LS Power was awarded a nearly $300 million contract to install an underwater power line from New Jersey to Delaware using a unique process that will bury the line under the river quickly.
The tool is essentially a hockey stick shape, and it's about 2 feet wide and about 70 feet tall. And it has nozzles on the front edge and on the bottom edge that inject river water into the riverbed and rather quickly pulled across the river. So to put that in perspective, we can go from bank to bank on a cable installation in about 24 hours.
While it may be a worthwhile project and improve the flow of energy throughout the region, Delaware leaders objected to the way the project would be paid for. The grid operator, PJM, decided that power customers in Delaware and Maryland would have to pay the bulk of the costs.
The problem, of course, was that this was more of a stability issue within the system operations of the nuclear complex over there. It was a problem with getting the energy out under certain load conditions. And the Delmarva Zone didn't cause that problem. So we just felt that it was just patently unfair.
To protest the cost burden on the Delmarva Peninsula, Delaware Governor Jack Markell joined Maryland Governor Larry Hogan in writing a letter to PJM in protest.
It's just been a remarkable thing to see just how many people have been coming together from all different industry areas to fight this cost allocation on behalf of the ratepayers.
Residential customers would have seen their power bills go up by about $4 a month. Industrial customers would have seen a massive energy price spike.
We can't possibly take on this large of a financial burden on top of the costs that we're already paying for. To throw on this project where some industrial customers are going to see hundreds of thousands of dollars thrown onto their bill. That's a huge deterrent to people trying to come into Delaware, and that's certainly something that people living in Delaware are considering.
But even with all those complaints, the project was moving forward until PSE&G came out with a new estimate of what the project would cost.
Within the last 6 months, that Public Service Electric and Gas came in and said, oh no, by the way, it's going to cost this much more to do the station work at the nuclear complex. And that's when they added this $135 million more to the project costs, which raised it up to $410 million.
That's when grid operator PJM pushed the pause button to reevaluate. PSE&G declined our request for an interview about the project, instead sending us a statement that said, "This is an iterative process. PSE&G is committed to working with PJM and will provide PJM with any information and support they request." PJM also denied our request for an interview on where the project stands. They also sent a statement saying in early August the PJM board suspended the Artificial Island transmission project and directed staff to perform a comprehensive analysis to support a future course of action. PJM plans to announce that future course in early next year. LS Power's Casey Carroll hopes the cost issues are worked out so his company can get started on a project he says would bring benefits to Delaware.
We've talked about making Delaware more competitive through electric price savings. There's reliability benefits, keeping the lights on, especially during extreme weather events like a hurricane. Having that extra tie into the peninsula is important, and it's an independent path from the few other paths.
So now it's a wait and see process. PJM will decide in February whether to move forward with the process. And if it is back on, Delaware is expected to renew their fight against what they see as the unfair cost distribution on ratepayers here.
So why did the bulk of the project's costs land on Delaware in the first place?
Traditionally, that's just the cost structure that's in place when a new transmission line is put in like this. According to the Delaware Public Service Commission, when big new power lines like this are constructed, PJM looks at which way the power is flowing, and in this case it's coming from New Jersey to Delaware, so that's why the bulk of the cost goes towards Delaware. But that's not why this project is being built, to Delaware's point. It's being built to improve reliability on the New Jersey side primarily, and so that's why Delaware leaders say that New Jersey should pay more, the bulk of the costs.
Okay, thank you so much, Mark, and we'll keep following this issue, and you can learn more about this project online at newsworks.org/Delaware.